Hey, what's up guys? Today, I'll explain a Chinese fantasy movie, titled Water Monster. The movie starts when the boy named Shui Shang and his father are on their canoe in the middle of the lake. Shang Shui hears a voice calling his name like a whisper. But what is strange, is that there are no other people in that lake. Shu Shang's father tells him to pull the nets in order for his father to check why it's stuck. Shui Shang grabs the net, and then his father jumps on the lake and swims at the bottom to see the reason why the nets are stuck. Shui Shang is getting scared, and starts calling his father. He doesn't know what to do, and suddenly he sees a water monster swimming near the canoe. He starts to panic knowing his father is still on the water and the only thing that he can do is to call his father a lot of times. Then, his father appears and tells him that some branches are stuck on the nets. He then tells his father that he sees something in the water. Then his father turns around to check but there's nothing, it's just them. His father swims back to their canoe, then the water starts to bubble. He immediately points his finger to show it to his father. Then his father immediately grabs the fishing gear and aims to where he sees the bubbling water. While his father is aiming it, he gets terrified, and his father pulls his gear and sees that he got half the body of the fish with no head. Not long after, they hear a horrifying sound. They see something in the water that is getting closer to them. His father tells them to hold on tight. This creature swims past their canoe and goes back and forth circling them. Then, it goes to the bottom of them, and tilts their canoe, causing his father to fall in the water. Shang Xiao is terrified of what happened. Watching his father in the water and the monster swimming towards his father. He then calls his father and his father sees that it's moving towards him. Shui Shang looks so worried, then quickly grabs the rope of their canoe throwing it to where his father. Then pulls him as fast as he can. Just as his father gets in the canoe, the monster swims past them. The monster pulls the rope, and spins their canoe making the boy fall. But his father is quick and attentive that made him grab the boy's hand so that he will not fall on the water. Just as Shui Shang gets back to the canoe, the monster is swimming from the bottom in the water, aiming at their canoe that causes their canoe to flip over. His father quickly swims towards him, and then realizes that the monster is swimming towards them. So he quickly pushes Shui Shang back to their canoe. Shui Shang is in the canoe already, and just as his father holds the canoe, the monster then grabs him back to the water. Shushan can't do anything. He just stays on the canoe while crying hopeless. Then the water starts to bubble again, and he can see the fresh blood of his father slowly mixing the lake's water. Shu Shang subs, then his father's body is slowly visible to him. The monster tears his father's body in parts. Shui Shang is grieving his father's loss while recovering from what happened. He then sees the water monster slowly showing itself in front of him. He quickly grabs his father's fishing gear, then attacks the water monster. Shui Shang wakes up from this nightmare choking his best friend, and attacking him just like what he did to the water monster in his dream. His best friend just smiles like crazy and offers him a sweet potato. Shui Shang then turns around and lays back on his bed, while his friend sits beside him, and eats the sweet potato. Moments later, Shui Shen cleans his face with water, and is staring blankly on the lake in front of their village. On the other hand, there is a child who is watching Shui Shang, and is aiming his slang shot at Shui Shang. He then shoots Shu Shang and he turns around and sees the child who is laughing and making faces at him, and then runs away. The boy is running around their village, and bumps someone. The child who is running who shoots Shui Shang is running past a butcher shop, where the leader of the village is also walking towards. Then the butcher's daughter walks in front of their shop, and goes to the place where she can hang their clothes. While she is walking to the other villagers, she ignores those men, and she hangs the clothes. Her name is Shanglin. It turns out that Shu Shang admires Zinlin, but her father hated the idea. Moments after, Shu Shang and the other villagers hear a commotion, so they immediately go to the lake, and they see a corpse with no head. The Beret family are crying in front of that corpse. Then the village leaders arrive, and look at the corpse, and it seems like he knows who did it. The sun is setting and Shang Lan is worried about her younger brother, who is still nowhere to be found. The child who shot Shu Shang with a slingshot is Shanglin's brother. Now it comes and many of their villagers help in looking for Shanglin's brother. Suddenly they hear Shaolin's father screaming, so all of them immediately went to that place on the lake. They then see Shaolin's brother's corpse floating. Shang Long can take the pain she is feeling and she faints, and the villagers led by their leader are in front of the lake making a ritual. They put the water monster statue with a red cape on it, and they offer different kinds of fruits, vegetables, meats, and fish. The village leader believes that the water monster is angry, which he thinks off as their god attacks again after 10 years. So they need to make an offering. Xianglan's father cannot believe what he sees. They make a ritual of the water monster that killed his son. So he goes on a rampage, and goes to the lake, and lights a stick of dynamite and throws it in the lake. The village leader is offended by what Shanghan's father did, so they capture him, and tie him on the walls of the house facing the lake. At night Xianglan's father is killed by the water monster. The water monster eats the head of Xianglan's father. Morning comes, and Xianglan brings food for his father. She is once again shocked by what she is seeing. Her father is still tied to the wall, but has no head. Again the villagers made a commotion. Their leaders decided to make another ritual, but this time they will offer Xianglan. Shui Shang doesn't agree to this, but he can't do anything, because the villagers already set their minds to offer Xianglan, believing that she is the key, so that the water monster will not harm the village again. Shui Shang has no other choice but to stop the ritual, so he talks to his friends to help him. Shu Shang remembers his memory with his father, when his father taught him how to fight, and all the equipment in their house. Shushing with his friends makes a plan on how to trap the water monster. On the day of the ritual, the villagers put Xianglan in the canoe dressed in red. They then let Xianglan sail alone. Suddenly, a boat arrives in front of Xianglan. She is shocked as well as the villagers. It is Shui Shang and his friends. He tells the villagers to stop the ritual, and makes sense to them. Shui Shang is sailing on the lake on his boat with Xinlan and his friends. They are waiting for the water monster to appear. One of Shushan's friends suddenly jumps out of the boat. They are all worried when his friend appears, and laughs at them, saying nothing is on the leg. Then he plays a trick. He is acting as if he is drowning, and that something is pulling him down to the bottom. Suddenly the person in the water laughs so hard, and tells them that he is just playing them. While they are laughing, the water monster attacks the person on the water and kills him. Shui Shang, Shan Long, and his friends are all terrified when the water monster throws the head of their friends on their boat. The water monster attacks them all. Should we Shang and the water monster fight with each other? Night comes, and Shang plans are made into action. The water monster is now trapped. They put the water monster inside a steel cage. The whole village celebrates Shushing's plan, and they want to kill the water monster. The village leader arrives, and tells them that they are making a big mistake. The water monster is a god, but no one is listening to him. The whole village celebrates, and then they partied all night. While everyone is partying, the leader of the village is still in the cage praying the water monster to be alright, and apologizing for what the villagers did. Most of the villagers are drunk, and are lying on the ground. The leader fell asleep next to the cage, where the water monster is. Without them knowing that the water monster destroyed the cage, and is waiting for the night to come to attack everyone. Morning comes in the whole village as mourning corpses everywhere, and you can hear the screams and cries of the villagers. Shushank's best friend is also one of the corpses, lying on the cold ground. Shushing as well as the other villagers cannot believe what just happened. After the incident with a heavy heart, Shusheng made up his mind to fight and kill the water monster, whatever happens. Many of the villagers also come with him to stop the water monster. Shusheng is on the bamboo raft. Shuichen courageously swims at the bottom of the lake, and waits for the water monster to appear. It appears in front of him. Then, they fight in the water. The water monster then kicks Shui Shang. That lets him fly back on the bamboo floater. Shang Long with the other people on the boat immediately grab the rope that is connected to the bamboo raft. The water monster on the other hand is crawling on top of the water, toward the bamboo raft where Shui Shang is. After they drag Shui Shang, the bamboo raft is used as a wall on their boat, but the water monster just destroys it. Then it attacks them one by one. Shu Shang fights back as well as his friends and the villagers. But the water monster is so much stronger than them. The water monster easily attacks them, and kills most of them. Shui Shang is already tired, and he coughs a lot of blood, due to the injuries he got from the water monster's attacks. Shusheng is lying on the side of the boat, and the water monster is aiming to attack him again, but then one of his friends hugs the water monster from behind, and bit its shoulder. Shan Long sees this, and launches the attack to the water monster. The water monster is now on the rampage. After what they did, after Shanlin attacks the water monster, she is tossed and thrown near Shui Shang. But Shui Shang still has one arrow with his little shrank. He then shoots the water monster, but that doesn't kill the water monster. It is still on move to attack Shu Shang, who is lying on the ground with Shang Lan. Shui Shang's friend then launch the water monster, and are killed in front of them. Shang Lan and Shushing are both lying on the ground, watching their friends brutally killed by the water monster. All their friends are killed. Shui Shang with a heavy heart, watching them killed, he gains all of his strength, and launches the water monster and knives in both of his hands. He stabs the water monster. Non-stop every stab a memory appears on Shashank from his father's death. Shanglan's father and brother and each of the villagers who were killed his best friend, and all of his friends. Shushan cannot control himself, and just stabs the water monster, then he stabs its eye, which makes the water monster cry in pain, and slowly roll down the boat. Shui Shang then launches the water monster into the water. Shang Long watches all happen then cries and screams Shui Shang's name. Then the water monster's head appears in the water, making Shanghai. Then Shui Shang appears holding the water monster's head. Shashank succeeds in killing the water monster. Shui Shang and Shang Long sail on their boat to go back to their village. They almost arrive and Shu Shang sees the villagers who are smiling at their victory. Shu Shang smiles at Chan Lan when he realizes what he just saw are the people who were killed by the water monster. He sees his father, his best friends, Shanwan's father, and brother, his friends, and the villagers. The movie ends when Shu Shang tears fall when he finally sees himself 10 years ago looking back at him. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please hit the like button, and also subscribe to my channel for more videos like this. See you in the next video.